Colby Covington, what's up, brother?
Mr. Sir Mike Bisping, how are you, brother? Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you. Fortunately, you have no disrespect to Nate the Train. You have a slightly better connection, a setup, and all the rest of it. I could hardly see him. It was like I was talking to him from the 1980s. I'm good. I'm good, Colby. I was telling on the podcast a couple of weeks ago when I saw you last. I was at the airport, as you know. I had no sleep. I'd stayed up all night because by the time I got back from the arena, it was like 3:30 in the morning. I thought, I've got to be at the airport. So I stayed up and I was like a zombie. Then you jumped on my back. I shit my pants. I screamed like that. And I looked around and you were laughing your head off. Good to see. It was good to see you, man. How you been since then?
Man, it was good to see you. I didn't sleep that night either. I had the adrenaline at an all-time high, leaving to the airport. And then I see you. I'm like, oh, man, I'm going to go surprise Bisping. And then I immediately, after I did that, I was like, man, I probably shouldn't have done that because I know some fan had an interaction with you and tried to do the same and mess around and go too far with you before. So I was like, oh, man, I'm not trying to get punched by Bisping. I need to watch my
No. Don't be silly. Don't be silly. So listen, let's go back to that night then. Obviously, Leon Edwards got the job done against Kamaru Usman. Give me your quick assessment about that, Colby.
Yeah, he got the job done. It wasn't anything impressive. He didn't separate himself. He didn't look like he was a world beater. A lot of the fans, they didn't know who won. It was a close fight. What I did see from Usman is not the same Usman that I fought. Marty was a completely different fighter when I fought him a couple of years ago. He just looks like the hunger is gone. He doesn't train as hard. Now he's making all these excuses with injuries. So maybe that's why I was there as the backup fighter in the first place because, they didn't know if Marty was going to show up. And Leon should have been thanking me because, this was his big homecoming in London and England. And, I was there to save the show in case anything happened. I was there to sell a little bit more pay-per-views because the fight, nobody was interested in Leon Scott and Marty Fake Newsman. So, it wasn't anything special that I saw for Leon. And I'm excited to get my hands on him next. Where's he at, Mike? Where's he hiding, man?
Oh, so right. So listen, we got to talk about this because obviously, right, Dana said that you're next. You flew out and made weight, and I'm assuming, and in fact, answer this. Did they say to you, listen, if you go out and be the backup fighter, we will reward you making that sacrifice and showing that loyalty to the company by giving you a title fight next? Is that kind of the situation?
To be honest, Mike, no, there wasn't any guarantees that I was going to get the next title shot. I think I just went out there and handled my business in an ultra professional way where I showed to the UFC my true value and my true colors, that I was willing to fight either guy on a moment's notice. They called me Tuesday night. They give me a warning a couple weeks before, like, hey, stay ready just in case. But I didn't know for sure, Mike, that I was going over there until Tuesday night. They were like, hey, we need you to come weigh in. There might be some issues with the main event. We need you to possibly come fight, but you have to make weight for sure. So when they told me that, I was just like, hey, okay, let's do this. This is what I've been telling them, that I'm ready on a moment's notice. Anybody in the world, I'm ready any place, anytime, anyone. So, I think the numbers and just my actions spoke louder than words, Mike, and that's why I'm getting the next title shot.
And so that's officially on because I'm assuming, or is it officially on? Because I'm sure you've seen the pushback from Leon. He's looking at Masvidal if he beats Burns, maybe. What is your counter to that? What is your response to all of that noise?
Yeah, Mike, I gave Leon the best advice he could ever get the other day. I said, don't cross your boss. Look at last time Leon tried to cross his boss and act like he makes the calls. He was removed from the rankings. The guy sat out 2 years, didn't fight for 2 years, Michael. Said, oh, I deserve a title shot. I deserve this. I deserve that. Dude, you're on a winning streak because you're beating regional level fighters, dude. Until you get some high profile wins, main event spotlights, some former world champion, big main event fights, don't be complaining and ask for stuff that you don't deserve. So he just found out the hard way, Mike, that he doesn't call the shots in the UFC. He shouldn't cross the boss. He should listen to the company. He should be a company man like Colby Covington.
People get shit. I get called a company man all the time. It's like, being a company man's worked out for me. I'm doing all right. I'm still working with the UFC almost 20 years later. So what is the actual angle? So what have you heard? Obviously, I'm assuming you and Dana have had a little conversation since then because Leon's saying, you don't deserve it. So what is the official stance from your understanding?
Yeah, I mean, my official standing and all the UFC brass, Dana White, Ari Emanuel, Hunter Campbell, they've all said the same thing. I'm fighting for the world championship, the undisputed world championship this summer, Mike. Whether Leon shows up and fights in it or not, that's going to be his decision. If he's afraid to fight, he doesn't want to fight me because I'm the hardest matchup in the division and the most worthy guy, Mike. Let's talk about facts. I'm the next contender in line that he hasn't fought. I draw the biggest numbers in the division, so it's the biggest opportunity for him. I'm obviously the best looking fighter in the division. No one can debate that. So, all my credentials adds up. It's going to happen, Mike. So whether he shows up is up to him. I hope he does it. He's going to learn the hard way. You don't cross the boss.
What do you say though to Leon if he says, "Listen, I've got history with Masvidal. You lost your last. Well, you didn't. Your last fight was to Kamaru, right? Just refresh
my last
me.
fight.
Yeah.
No, my last
fight.
No.
It was Masvidal. It was Masvidal.
The 50-44 in a soda, Mike.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You did. My apologies. A lot of fights, a lot of flights, a lot of late nights. So technically then you have a better stake than Masvidal because you literally beat him in his last fight.
Yeah, I literally beat Street Judas Masvidal in his last fight, 54 in a soda. Wasn't even competitive. Mike blew him out of the arena. So you can't give a guy that's on a 3-fight losing streak and got 50-45 by the real guy, America's champ, Donald Trump's favorite fighter, the King of Miami, without, putting me in there. So, that fight's not going to happen. If they want to fight, Mike, if Leon wants to fight Masvidal so bad, don't worry. He can go fight him on the prelims after I destroy him this summer. But he's not getting out of this ass whooping. Mike, where's he at, man? Dude, when I came to London, I didn't know if I was in Hogwarts. I didn't know if I was in Harry Potter world or if I was in Newark, New Jersey. But, man, go find him in one of those little Hogwarts villas and bring him out,
Mike. Listen, you were in and out of the country, but you didn't like it, did you?
I didn't like it, Mike. I can't have some guy in a castle across the pond telling me the way I need to live my life. The food was terrible, but the people, man, Mike, I have so much respect for the fans, for the people. Man, all the people there are great. They deserve better, Mike. Listen, all the people of London, England, you want to come to Miami, the King of Miami will show you a good time in Miami. Nothing but beaches, good clear blue skies, and the best food in the world.
So in a perfect world, where does this fight with Leon go down?
Yeah, in a perfect world, it goes down International Fight Week. That's the biggest spectacle of the sport. That's the summer when everybody's, on their summer breaks and got free time to come watch the biggest and best fights. So, that's going to be a spectacle. The International Fight Week is when it needs to happen. I know the UFC, they want to get it done around that time. So hopefully Leon shows up. If not, he's going to find the hard way that you don't cross the boss and you don't call the shots, Leon. You're not a huge draw. So, you won the world title, but, you beat a show of a former self-marty fake newsman. Now you need to come see the man. If he's so good, if Leon's such a badass fighter, Mike, why doesn't he want to come fight me? I'm the next contender in line. Like, I'm the biggest draw in the division. Like, why is he trying to get out of this fight, this ass beating? Like, he should believe in his skills more. And also, Mike, what other fighter that they match him up against is going to be, the odds are going to be like the odds that you see between me and him right now. You're already seeing some odds out there. I'm a favorite. I'm a slight underdog. No other contender is going to put up those type of odds against him.
So if just playing devil's advocate, if I was on the other side of the coin, right, I would, and some people might say, Kamaru Usman beat you twice. You have a very similar style to Kamaru. What are you going to do differently that Kamaru couldn't?
Mike, I don't walk around with that weight on my back like Kamaru beat me twice. He did not beat me twice. If you go back and watch the tape of when I fought him in Madison Square Garden 2 Novembers ago in 2021, I clearly beat him. Every fan, when I left that arena, Mike, they were like, Colby, you won that fight. You easily won 3 rounds to 2. So just because the judges didn't give me it, I lost a little split decision by 1 round. I beat him that night. I know I'm a better fighter than him. So, I've improved and evolved a lot since then, Mike. I have a chip on my shoulder, like, I knew that wasn't the last of me fighting for world titles and that I would come back. I would be this underdog story that comes back and reclaims the title. I faced my trials and tribulations, Mike. I faced my hardships and adversity. Now I'm back better than ever, and you're going to see a new version of me, Colby Chaos Covington 2.0, next time I get in that cage for the undisputed world title.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it. Listen, I said when I saw you at the airport, you were so respectful and a very, very nice guy. So I'm not trying to do what Chael Sonnen would say, reveal the business and telling tales. But you are a very, very nice, respectable guy. And when you step in the octagon, of course, you turn that on. When you're doing your interviews and everything, you're selling yourself. You're selling the brand. What's Colby Covington like on a Tuesday evening when he's sitting down with someone of his friends or loved ones or whatever? What is that version of Colby like?
That's the same version as you see right now, man. I'm in this silk, this sleek little outfit. I'm living good, man. I got a house on my neck. I'm walking around styling and profiling, baby. So, I just like to enjoy life and get people fired up and seeing all my haters just be miserable is the best thing in the world. So, there's a lot of people that hate Mike Bisping, but they don't know the real gentleman that Mike Bisping is. He's a true gentleman.
Especially after Saturday night, there's even more. Apparently, I was biased in my commentary and stuff. A lot of people hate me. Who cares?
Who cares? Everybody has an opinion, and it's not always going to be the same as yours. But agree to disagree. You still got to respect your body of work and what you've done for the sport. So, you got the last win over us Americans, Mike. So I'm trying to come back and get one back for my people, man. I got to make this back, man. So, Leon, man, you need to stop hiding. You need to come out here, defend your fucking country, and show that you're a real champion. If you're a real champion, you'll beat anybody. So come get it, Leon. I'm waiting for you, Leon Scott.
So tell me this then, if and when, and I do think it will be a when this fight gets signed and announced, what happens? How does that go down? How does that fight end?
Yeah, Mike, I beat him from pillar to post. I beat him everywhere. I'm a better wrestler. I'm a better striker, better jiu-jitsu. My cardio, he can't hang. He slows down in fights. Those last couple rounds, he comes out hard and he'll throw 50, 60 kicks, 50, 60 punches. But then, his volume changes as the fight goes on. So I will wear him out, Michael, and I will break him. I'll break his will. And, you see that. That's why he's not selling the fight. He had the perfect opportunity, the spotlight in London, to call me out, to the man in the division, the biggest draw, to make it even bigger. And, he didn't call me out, Mike. So there's probably a reason for that. If I would have went in the cage, all the London fans were embracing me, Colby. So maybe he didn't want to get his feelings hurt, but he needs to start fucking doing his part, carrying his weight as a champion and coming for the next man up. He knows what's going to happen, Mike. He's going to get broken in front of the world.
I genuinely thought you were going to get in the octagon because that would have been the best promo ever. I thought that was going to happen. Was that even mentioned or even discussed?
Yeah, it wasn't discussed, but it's definitely something I wanted to do. That little stooge of his, that little coach in his corner, the bald guy is always talking this shit like he's some great fighter. He's like grabbing his nuts at me saying, "Oh, fuck you. I'm going to fuck you up, Kobe, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, come on, you little stooge. Come on, bro. Dude, hold my fucking water, bro. You couldn't do shit, dude. So I wanted to get up in there, but, I respect the UFC business. I respect everything, the company. I'm a company man, Mike. So Colby Covington is the ultimate company man. I didn't want to break any boundaries, step in their space and mess up their business on pay-per-view. So, I was polite. Leon didn't want to call out the man. So, that's too bad for him. It's just less money. That's why he's not a money fighter.
Obviously, he wants to fight Masvidal, and I kind of get it. The whole three-piece in a soda thing, but Masvidal's fighting Gilbert Burns next week. How do you see that fight going down?
George is a broken man. He's not the same fighter after I destroyed him and beat him 50-44 with the soda. Obviously, he's had emotional letdown, and, his life is unraveling, Mike. Look at obviously what he came and did, and the guy is just he's done a lot of drugs and just a lot of things that have rotted his brain and his body, and he's just you could tell he's just not the same person. So I just see Dilbert getting an easy win, and Gilbert's a nice guy, family guy. He's not Colby Covington, so he's not going to get a title shot off of beating Street Judas. But the thing is, Mike, he's going to be 1 or 2 fights away after he beats Street Judas. And he's going to be close, He might want to get a new manager, though, Mike. I'm self-managed. I manage myself at Colby Covington Incorporated. So
really?
Yeah.
You have no manager?
Think about doing the same.
You have no manager at all?
No manager at all. I deal directly with the UFC.
Oh, good for you, man. More money in your pocket because you're doing well as well. I don't want any details whatsoever because I'm assuming you can't talk about it. But is the legal thing still ongoing with Masvidal? And as I say, I don't expect details because if it is, I understand that's a very delicate thing.
Yeah, he's in the hands of the justice system. When you break the law in this country, and assault a civilian, you got to pay the price. So, I'm just going to leave the legal system up to that. It's out of my hand. It's out of my hands at this point. It's up to the state.
Yeah. No, fair enough. And as I said, I don't expect any details whatsoever, but I did genuinely wonder. So International Fight Week, Leon Edwards, Leon versus Colby Covington. I mean, you're talking a lot of shit. You're ruffling his feathers, I'm sure. Let me ask you about this. I've got to ask you. John Anik, come on. We know you like to play around and you have some fun, Colby. John Anik's the man. And I know he's spearheading Bilal Muhammad, right? And I get that. And I get that it annoys you because he's trying to fuck up your title shot, so it's going to give you an emotional response. But John Anik, what's going on, buddy? What's going on with Anik?
Mike, I guess John found out that, the stove can be really hot. Maybe you shouldn't touch it. So, I tell everybody the same thing, when the train's coming through, you better get off the track so you're going to get ran over. So, it is what it is. But, no one's safe in this business, Mike. Like everybody that wants to come and drag me down, they don't know what I've been through. They don't know how hard I work every day to stay at this level in the top of the game. So, if you come for the king, the king's going to have a response.
No, fair enough. I don't think John is, I don't think he's going to lose his children. I think me and you both know that. But you are always supremely conditioned, Colby. Do you mind real quick, and we won't keep you too much longer, and thanks again for your time. Really, really do appreciate it. I really appreciate it because, we had a stupid thing on Fox Sports years ago. We went back and forth. And then the next time I spoke to you, it was a long time afterwards when I did an interview for BT Sport. And I came away from that thinking, wow, Colby's the man. And then, of course, I saw you again last week. You are always super crazy conditioned. What is like the average training day for you?
Yeah, the average training day is just, getting up in the morning, getting a good meal in me. I think that's a big reason for my conditioning is just the healthy diet that I consistently, have every day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner is all organic meals and listen to a food pyramid type of diet plan, getting your greens, getting your protein, getting your carbohydrates, getting a lot of water. So, I think the diet is the number one thing, but also, it's just the mentality. I get up and I go train after I eat about an hour or two later when my food is digested, and I give my all every day, Mike. And I visualize seeing, in these main event world title fight type fights, and I just push myself as hard as I can. And anytime the coaches tell me to do something, I'm always doing an extra round, an extra punch, an extra couple reps. I'm always trying to do extra and create extra edges that no one else is doing. So, by staying out after training a little bit extra longer, doing a couple extra sit-ups, push-ups, bench, couple sprints, I think that's what separates me is just, putting in the extra work. So, I'm a very disciplined guy. I don't party, I live the lifestyle right now. I'm a 24/7, 365 fighter. I'm not a part-time fighter. So, while I'm in this sport until I'm retired in a couple years, 5 years from now, then I'm not going to worry about anything else but being the absolute best I can be.
And people say, I don't know, I've never asked you, but apparently you don't cut very much weight. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. When I'm in training camp and I'm training every day, 10, 12 pounds is the weight class I'm over, the championship limit. So I'm not a big
the whole time. Like, for example, right now, what do you weigh? Like 182, something like that?
Yeah, 182, 183 max.
Yeah.
So, I just people try to tell me in the beginning of my career, Mike, they're like, oh, you need to be lightweight. You need to cut down. You'll be bigger than these guys. You'll be able to overpower. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do that because you cut that weight, then you're going to lose a lot of speed. You're going to lose a lot of energy because you're depleting yourself and you have no water in your body, your brain. So, I like fighting in my natural weight class. I'm not a weight bully like Kumshot Chimaev, that dog face looking motherfucker. That guy has to cut down fucking 30, 40 pounds to try and make welterweight because he wants to be a weight bully and bully these guys. Yeah, if I cut all that weight, Mike, I'd be fighting Henry Cejudo and Sean O'Malley, but I'm not a weight bully. I'll fight my natural weight class because I believe in my skills and I know I'm the best fighter in the world.
Yeah. Well, Kumshot Chimaev. I mean, Kamzat Chimaev. You got me saying it now as well. He's going back and forth. Who was he talking about now? He's talking about Yair Prohaska. He's talking about Jorge Masvidal. He's out there starting arguments with everyone.
Man, cum shot. Dude, he's so like just puzzled. He doesn't know what his life is going. He knows he's too big. He can't make the weight. You missed weight by 9 pounds. You had the easiest fight in the division. The UFC was giving you a layup to set this up, this mega pay-per-view blockbuster with me. And he couldn't even come within 3-4 pounds, 9 pounds over, Mike. That's so unprofessional. I mean,
Yep.
there's a reason he's in the doghouse and he's sitting on the sidelines and he's going to have to go up to middleweight. He's not going to be a welterweight anymore. So, he had a shot, but he blew it.
Yeah. You mentioned Hams, that's what kind of threw me off. But just going back to the weight cutting thing that you were talking about, I think it's so valuable that younger fighters particularly listen to what you're saying, because it will protect your brain. It will allow you to go at a faster pace like you did, like you do, pardon me. And throughout the camp, you're allowed, well, you can take on nutrients. You can recover from the training sessions. So what would you say do you have any advice out there for younger fighters? Because it seems a lot of people are obsessed with cutting the most weight amount of possible because they think it's going to give them an advantage, but it is so incorrect. I'm against that big time. But do you have a word for the next generation, Colby?
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. I see it in wrestling, and I've seen it, throughout my 15 years in my MMA journey. Is these guys are so focused on cutting the weight, Mike, that they take away from their, progressions as a fighter in the training, because they can't focus on their techniques and feel good and like working different combos because they're so energy depleted because they're cutting so much mass amount of weight that. They really sacrifice their training and their development as a martial artist, and they can't get better because they're so focused on just cutting weight. So, I encourage the next generation of fighters, Mike, to fight more by your natural weight class. Fight at a weight class you're 5-10 pounds over the weight, and you feel good. You don't want to take too much water out of your brain. You get touched, you get knocked out. That's why I've never been knocked unconscious in the octagon, Mike. Is because I don't cut a lot of weight and I have all the water in my brain and I feel good, tons of energy, and obviously I can go all day. I'm like the Energizer Bunny.
And did you ever feel, have you ever felt like you were overpowered? Because even when I was at 205, I made the mistake. You know what I mean? If you can't beat them, join them, follow the crowd, whatever. So I went down to 185. But even at 205, I never felt overpowered. So at 170, you're not cutting weight like the other people, but I'm assuming the answer is no.
Yeah, absolutely not. I've never felt overpowered, just because my energy levels are so high and like, I just feel so good when I'm fighting. Like, the power doesn't make a difference. The more power they have, the more oxygen they have to feed to the muscles. So they're going to get tired a lot quicker, and then you're going to wear on them. And then, that's when you can take over. So no, I've never felt overpowered, but maybe that's more just mindset and believing and feeling good, all the elements that go into the fights.
Yep. No. Wise words indeed. Okay, we'll let you go in just a second. So in your world, International Fight Week, you fight Leon Edwards, you take the belt off him. In the meantime, Conor McGregor, if it works out, beats Michael Chandler. Are we saying Conor McGregor versus Colby Covington later in the year for the 170-pound title? Is that the perfect scenario for you?
I think that'd be beautiful, Michael. Just, I think it's the perfect scenario for the company. And I'm a company man. Colby Covington is a company man. He loves the company that changed his life, and he wants to do the biggest and best business for the company. Everybody knows the star power that is Conor McGregor, the biggest draw. The things he's done have been so unpredictable. You can never count that guy out. That guy can spark anybody, inside, 10 seconds, as we've seen what he did with Aldo. So, you can't underestimate that guy. I think it would be a great fight with fireworks, and I think it would be the biggest selling fight in UFC history. With, Colby Chaos Covington and Conor McGregor at the top of the docket, USA versus Ireland. There's a lot of different angles that fight goes, Mike. So if it happens, that'd be beautiful. But, I'm just going to keep chasing the biggest and best fights, keep getting better, and, keep solidifying my legacy.
All right. Well, listen, can't wait to see how it plays out. Harrington. So this is our producer. He's been to Twitter. He's just asked real quick. He's going to have three quick fire questions to throw at you, Colby, if you don't mind, if you have the time. And thanks again. Harrington,
yes,
what
sir.
have we got for Colby Covington?
Okay. Buzzy Bear wants to know, how come you didn't accept the fight with Bilal at UFC 286 when you were able to weigh in and prepared to fight?
I apologize, Colby. Jeez Louise, what are you doing?
It's the first question people are asking.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you the honest truth. That's fake news. I was never offered Bill Lyle. I wasn't offered the racist. That guy's very racist. He said that I'm getting my title shot because I'm white. That's racism, clear racism. He should be kicked off the panel at ESPN. But let me tell you the truth. Never was offered Bill Lyle. The guy, he's beaten 8 or 7 guys on the regional circuit. When you start winning high-level fights, former world champion, top five ranked fights, then you can start talking about getting these big fights and title shots and this and that. But until you do that, stop saying my name, bro. It's all fake news. I've never been offered. I've accepted every fight I've been offered from Hunter and Dana White. They've offered me Dustin Poirier. I was ready for that fight. He was going to sell big tickets because he got me kicked out of my old gym. So that fight, that's a personal vendetta. That's not about like a big fight.
They offered you Dustin Poirier?
Yes. Dustin Poirier. Oh. I accepted with Khamzat Chimaev. I said, let's do it. I'm going to end this hype. This guy cannot keep up with me for 5 rounds. You saw what happened with him and Gilbert in 3 rounds. He was breaking. I will break that guy, and I will end his hype for good. So I accepted every fight that's been offered to me. Dustin Poirier, Khamzat Chimaev, Baba. There's no other fights that have been presented to me. If someone says that they've presented a fight, show me a contract. Show me anything. Oh, he's showing text from his dietitian? Bill Lyle, let me tell you one piece of advice. Get a new manager. Get a new manager, Bill Lyle.
All right. Mike Ryan.
Hell of an answer. And so, yeah, great question.
Honest truth. I'm always real.
Mike Ryan wants to know, who's your favorite pro wrestler growing up? And then Kev Bronson to follow up, how soon after you retire from MMA will you join AEW or WWE?
There's a lot of great wrestlers. That's tough to pick just one. Of course, we all love Ric Flair and the Rolex wearing, diamond jet flying, and, Kiss son of a gun. That guy's a legend. He was the man, the original man. So, Colby Covington's the man now in the UFC. So, he's following in the footsteps of Daddy Flair. And, we'll see. I could be anywhere, anytime. That's what's unpredictable about chaos. You don't know what I'm going to do next. That's why people tune in, because they don't know where they're going to see me next.
Colby, talk to me about the pendant, the necklace, whatever you want to call it, the chaos. Is that solid gold and diamonds?
Solid gold and diamonds, my brother. That's the finest diamonds you're gonna see. That's a $35,000 diamond tennis chain and just straight gold right here. Let me show you chaos.
What are we talking? What does something like that cost? I'm sure you didn't have to pay for it. I'm sure someone figured that out. But what is that worth?
No, I had to pay for it, bro. It was 50 G's. So every one of these things I paid for. This is 50 G's. That's 40 G's. That's 50 G's. Rolex, diamond studded. That's 30 G's. So that's what happens when you work hard.
Life's
just like
good.
Yourself, Michael. You know, man. You fucking work hard for this company. You're a company man. So that's what the company takes care of, is people.
Finally said it like a compliment as opposed to an insult. There's nothing wrong with being, the UFC is a great company and they've changed my life, and I recognize that. So I'm happy to. All right, call me a fucking company man all day long. I don't care. Harrington, one more, please, sir.
All right. Brian Cashman wants to know, what do you think the best win of your career to date is?
The best win of my career to date? Probably the Robbie Lawler fight. This is, one of the most scary fighters of the division. He was still, knocking people's heads off when I fought him. And, he was still the boogeyman of the division. He was the guy that your parents told you about that was the boogeyman under your bed at night and you had nightmares about. So, Robbie Lawler, it was an honor to share the octagon with him. And he's someone that, I have a lot of respect and admiration for. So it was an honor to fight a first ballot. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. So it was an honor.
Yeah, absolutely. A real quick last one on this. Every time you do, I forget the website of the betting site that you promote. Every time you've got the girls on there, it's always different girls. Where are you finding these girls that are willing to stand there and be on your Instagram advertisements in their underwear?
Yeah, there's a reason I'm the king of South Florida and king of Miami, Mike. These mamacitas like me out here. I mean, what's not to like? The only reason I put these glasses on, Mike, is because we got business to talk about. I don't want all the ladies out there to fall in love with me with these beautiful hazel eyes. So,
shit.
I got a lot of mamacitas.
All right. Well, listen, on that note, we'll say goodbye. Colby, you are the man, always entertaining. Yeah, love your fights. Love what you bring to the octagon. Love you scaring the shit out of me at airports. And we'll see you soon. All the best, man. Thanks for coming on.
See you soon. Thanks for having me on, Mike. Take care.
Take it easy, buddy. Thank you, Colby.